Why do you feel the Georgia law is unconstitutional? Is it too strict?
Well, I believe all abortion laws are unconstitutional. I believe that they violate a woman's right to privacy, that a person has the right to decide whether they want to bear or not bear children is a personal decision and should not be legislated.
I cried for all those babies who are going to be dead, who are going to be literally ripped from the warmth and protection of their mother's womb. Because our land has been, the Supreme Court of our land has struck down the basic premise on which all of our rights are predicated, the right to life.
You know, the thing that we never talk about is you don't have to get pregnant. To continue to allow the life of the child to be taken because I don't want to take birth control or I don't want to know my body, I think is an injustice. We talk about this as reproductive justice, but where is the justice for the child?
Well, for women, sex and shame go hand in hand. And I think because we bear the burden of procreation, it seems that boys get away with, oh, yeah, but with a woman, it's different. It's her responsibility, and it's a lifelong responsibility. And you may never get child support. You may never get any help from anybody. The state, the federal government, your family, your school, anybody. And even with Roe, that was still the case. And it would be great if we could just erase shame. It does no good to anybody. Mine was a date rape. He gave me a glass of punch, which I drank. I was really thirsty. And then he gave me another one. And I wasn't feeling so well. And I said, you know, I really need a bathroom. I don't feel well. And I was really woozy, and I started to sit down in the bed, and I noticed that there was a negligee on the bed, a black, shorty, lacy thing. And there were Polaroid pictures of other women wearing this lacy negligee up on his wall. And I was just like horrified at the idea that, and then the next thing I knew, I woke up, I was in that negligee, I wasn't a virgin anymore. And that was the last I heard of him, from him. And I found out about 2.5 months later that I was pregnant. I fortunately had a very good friend who helped me. She had a doctor who helped her, and I went to a nice office in the District of Columbia, and this guy was very kind, and he performed a D&C, and it was over, and that was that. But I have to say, it's affected my entire life.
When that child is taken from your womb, it's like, oh my God, what did I just do? Because you can't fix it. I had 2 abortions. My first one I had in 1972 in New York, pre-Roe v. Wade. As I said, I was in college, and so I flew from Boston to New York and took care of it. The second one, I was in between jobs, and I was in school again. I was very selfish. And I actually convinced myself that the whole viability thing was a credible argument. So I was really angry back then about the information that wasn't given to me to make a real choice.
It's very upsetting to me that it has been politicized. Abortion is personal, not political. Reproductive care is personal, not political. And I honestly think that the goal of the Christian right is not to make sure abortion doesn't happen, but to get rid of birth control as well. My hopes for the future of abortion rights, that the government should stay out of women's health. And I think it's time to trust women to make their own decisions. These are private and difficult decisions to make, and we have a right to make them in private.
I definitely think it's more political, and I think it has become that because women have become more radical in their quest to be equal with men. I think a lot of the language that is used today was specifically crafted to make a political argument. rather than the moral argument. So my hope is that, yes, this will get to the Supreme Court and that they will determine that the child in the womb is a person entitled to 14th Amendment protection, so it won't go back to the states. It will be a federal standard that you cannot take the life of the child in the womb.